Hello, Team Paterson. Okay, so here's a very short video offering some guidance or some advice or some tips on how to play Pat Paterson. So Pat Paterson is a politician from Cork. He's currently the Taoiseach, or the Irish Prime Minister, and the former leader of Fianna Fáil, because all those parties have now become part of the Harp Party or the Shamrock Party. So he's definitely a person who can claim to have a lot of political experience. He's someone who's been either a minister or Taoiseach or a prominent person in Fianna Fáil for well over 3 or 4 decades. In terms of the real-life politician that he most closely resembles, I think it's probably obvious enough that you're looking at Micheál Martin here. Just to give you a bit of background information, I've run this elections task, or an Irish version of this elections task, probably for the last, 6 years maybe. And in the last 5 years, the Pat Paterson character has won the Harp Party primary election on 4 of those 5 years. In the first year, the Pat Paterson character, it was called John Jemison then. You might see in the printed copy I gave Arthur and Nathan yesterday, there's a reference there to John Jemison. At one point, there's a typo. I forgot to update that. So in the first year, the Pat Paterson character was John Jemison, and he won it. So I retired the John Jemison name, and it's been Pat Paterson since. So it's a character that's got a lot of success in the past. The one year Pat Paterson didn't win the Hart primary nomination, he finished second. So he's obviously not a bad character to play if you have expectations of winning the Hart Party primary election. Obviously, you need to do the work, the campaign posts, etc., etc. Anyway, Pat Paterson's selling points. First of all, he's from Cork, and if he's still very much in the running in the election coming up to the last few contests at the end of next week, well, there's an election, there's a contest in Cork County. Now, he's Cork City, so just make sure you don't make the mistake that you start talking about Cork City in that contest, because it's Cork County, not Cork City. And it might look bad for a Cork person not to know the difference. Anyway, he's from Cork, so there is a Cork County, not Cork City, primary election coming up at the end of the contest. There's one advantage. Second thing, he has name recognition. If there was a poll done, he may well be the least popular, the person has the kind of highest unfavorability rating of all the Harp candidates, but he'd also have the highest favorable rating of all the Harp candidates because he's clearly the best known of all the candidates. So that's something you should be able to play to your advantage. He's a man who knows how to get things done. He's got experience. He's someone who believes in compromise, as the bio details there will say. Others will say, oh, he's someone who's been in politics for a long time, he's done nothing, or others might say, well, he's done some things, he's done some okay things, especially in the Harp primary. But you know what? If we want to win this election, do we want to win the election running the same person who we've been running for the last 20 or 30 years, or do we need a fresh pair of hands? So that's something you need to deal with or watch out for in the election campaign. You have an enemy as well. Éanna Cueve absolutely hates Pat Paterson, so she'll be gunning for you, and especially her sister coach. I don't know who's playing them at all. Anyway, there's 2 of you in the team at the moment, maybe 3 of you if you respond to the email I sent you earlier today. So one of you has to play Pat Paterson. The other 1 or 2, or if you get to 3 in the team, can choose between the following team members. Jim Johnson, who is another Fianna Fáil TD from Cork City. He's basically, you might remember Michael McGrath as Minister for Finance. He's basically the Michael McGrath character. Ndidi Bala is a Nigerian national whose father was very good friends with Pat when he was at university in Trinity in the early 1980s. And she's obviously good friends with Pat, and she works with him in terms of his campaign. but she's obviously trying to get him to portray a different side of his campaign to promote greater diversity within the campaign. Last of all, Kevin Killer Kelly. He's a more Republican, maybe a more left-leaning former Fianna Fáil member, but he's also from Cork, and he's very loyal to Pat Paterson. He's a former Cork Gaelic football star who won 2 All-Irelands. Now, some people would say this is someone who should have won 7 All-Irelands or 6 All-Irelands. The problem was he had that terrible habit of getting sent off in All-Ireland finals. If you want a member of the team who's going to do the dirty work for you, who's going to go on the attack, Kevin Killer Kelly is your man. Killer by name, killer by nature. So Pat can be all about compromise, even Jim and Aditi, but if you want someone to address, so say, I'm not going to say Courtney Queeve is attacking Pat. Now Pat can go all nice and say, oh, I do blah, blah, I don't understand this. I think whereas Kevin Killer Kelly can, by contrast, go out and defend his party leader, his fellow Corkman. Basically doing in politics what he did on the football field for many's a day. Anyway, there's some advice. What I would say is, A, quickly decide who's going to be who in this candidate team grouping, because every hour lost now is serious, because the Leitrim and Louth primaries, posts for those primaries need to be in by Sunday. So if you don't post soon, you'll already be behind in Leitrim. You'll already have lost Leitrim and Louth. So get yourselves sorted, decide who's playing who, and start posting as soon as you can. See all the previous emails, see the advice in class for how to do this, and also be strategic. You know Cork County is coming up, but obviously it's no point having Cork County in the last set of primaries if you are way behind at that stage, because you won't have the momentum. So you need to make sure you win a few counties out of those 5 early counties. Definitely decide, are you going to go all in for Leitrim or go all in for Louth? And the next 3 primaries, you have Laois and Longford, but you've also got Limerick, and Limerick is next door to Cork, so you really should be trying to take advantage of that friends and neighbours geographical dimension there and make a big push for Limerick. It's a big county. Then the last, if you make it into the last set of primaries, you have 5 primaries in the one day. So as I said in class yesterday, try to encourage lower placed candidates to suspend their campaign and endorse your team, and then be strategic. Definitely make use of the local candidate factor in Cork County, but also try to get people covering the other counties as well, because you won't win the Heart Party nomination if you're just focusing on Cork County in the last few days. Okay, good luck.